Greetings everybody. Myself Palkumar Pat. Welcome to LeetCode problem solving series. Today we are going to solve the question 3931. Check adjacent digit differences. We'll start by understanding our problem properly, moving forward to the optimized solution to solve the problem, because the problem given to us is much easier and simpler today. So let's just start understanding what our problem is trying to say. So we are given a string s which contains a number of digits in the form of characters, because s being a string. Our task is that we need to return true or false based on a condition that if the difference between each and every digits present in s is, if that's greater than 2, then we need to return false. But if that's for every difference, if that's less than or equal to 2, like 1 or 2, then we need to return true. So this is our simple condition. Now the twist is that for every difference, the difference that we are going to calculate for every digit, like a pair of digits, it should be absolute. Now what is an absolute difference? See, we don't know, like we don't have any type of constraint which tells us that yes, the given digits are in this or this type of order. We can have any order of digits, 1, 3, 2. As you can see, 1 is less than 3, but after that there is 2 which is less than 3 itself. So we don't have any order of digits. So let me just like tell you that if we calculate it like this way, like 1 and 3, let's take it as an example that we start by iterating from the start of the string, and we calculate the difference from between the 0th index and the first index character, which is 1 and 3. So we know that yes, 1 is less than 3, but during the code, how can we judge that? So for that, we need to calculate the absolute difference. Now absolute difference help us to just check that if our difference between two digits, if that's negative, then it will help us to ignore that negative sign. It will just take the integer part and it will just remove the negative sign. If that's 1 minus 3, then as you can see, the absolute will not be minus 2. It will just help us to ignore the minus sign. It will just give us 2. So this way, for each and every pair of digits, we need to calculate the absolute difference, and we need to check if that's greater than 2, return false, otherwise return true. So this is our complete given problem. Now let's just move to the optimized solution for solving the problem. So many of you would have figured out that we'll start by iterating through the given input string. And during that iteration, what we'll be doing is that we will calculate the absolute difference between two digits. And after that, we will simply use the if condition that if that's greater than 2, return false. Like if there will be any pair of digits during the iteration of which the difference is greater than 2, then just stop the loop and on the spot return false. Otherwise, if there is no pair of digits found of which the difference is greater than 2, then our loop will be ended and we'll simply return true at the end of the code, because we know that yes, the loop is ended successfully and there is no pair of digits of which the difference is greater than 2. So at the end we will be returning true. Now many of you would just think that how can we calculate the difference between two characters, because we have the digits in the form of characters and not integer. So for that, I have mentioned the trick to convert the digits which are in the form of character into, we can say, integer part. Okay, I have mentioned that in earlier videos too, but let me just mention it again here. See that we just have a simple trick that we are going to use the C++ property that if we do any type of, we can say, mathematical operation into any type of, we can say, character, if it being a letter or it being a digit, then after subtracting another, we can say, a fixed letter or digit from that respective part, it will help us to calculate the type of mathematical operation that we are doing. If it's positive, like we can say plus or minus or multiply, it will help us to do that operation into its own ASCII characters, which can help us to convert the, we can say, digit in the form of character into its integer part. How? Let's say we have 3 during this iteration, like during the iteration through this s string, we are countering the character 3. Then what we'll be doing is that we will do this thing that we have 3, so we will just subtract 0 in the form of character from 3. Now how this will work, as I mentioned, it's a C++ property that if we do mathematical operations into characters, then it will consider the ASCII characters, ASCII value of these characters. So it will take 3's ASCII value. Let's say it's 68. Okay, so it will take 68. So if 3's ASCII value is 68, then what will be the ASCII value of 0? It will be 65. Okay, it will be 65 because 3 minus 0 is 3. So it will take these ASCII characters and it will do the mathematical operation on these characters, which will give us 3. So now you can see that this, we can say, digit in the form of character is converted into its integer part. Okay, so this way we are going to convert every pair of digits into first integers, and then we will do absolute, we can say, subtraction, absolute difference, for which we are going to use this ABS named method, which is also a basic method, the default method of the math library inside the C++. So let's just go for it. Let's go for the code. As I mentioned, we'll start iterating through our given input string. Okay, and during that iteration, we won't iterate till the last character. Okay, this is completely wrong. Why? Because the reason is that what we are going to do is that we will take current character. Okay, we'll start by iterating from the first character itself. We'll take the current character and use the next character to check the difference between them, the absolute difference between them. Now, many of you would just know that why we should not iterate till the last character, because at the last iteration, if we use this loop itself, then at the last iteration, this 2, for this test case, we will not have any next character. So it will give us an out of bound errors that we don't have the next character for the last iteration. Then how to calculate? So it will give us out of bounds error, which will, like we can say, make this complete code completely wrong for this problem. So for we can say dealing with that type of error, what we will be doing is that we will simply iterate till the last second character, because we don't want to do anything with the last character. So this way we can deal with this type of errors, out of bound errors. So as I mentioned, we will be using an if condition to calculate the absolute difference between the two current and as well as the next digit. Now for this, as I mentioned, we will be using the typecasting, we can say, way to convert the current character from its character part to digit part, integer part. So s of I minus, okay, here it will be minus 0, and after that abs of minus, again the same thing for the next, we can say, next character. So s of I plus 1 minus 0. So this way it can help us to check if that ABS difference, absolute difference, is greater than 2, then as I mentioned, on the spot return false. But if the loop ends, then we know that yes, there is no pair of digits of which the difference is greater than 2. So simply return true. So this way our complete problem can be solved. Let's just check this if that works for our main test cases or not by running the. So yeah, it perfectly works. Let's just submit the code to check this code for the internal edge cases. It should work. It perfectly works. So this is our complete code. As you can see, it gives 100% time complexity because we are using a single for loop, which help us to take only order of n time for running this code. So this way we can solve this complete given problem. This was the only optimized approach for solving the problem. If you like the way I explain the code, I explain problem, solve it, you can like the video. Also, if you want to check other questions too, it is already present in the playlist LeetCode problem solving series. Okay, other questions are also going to be added. I'm trying my best to take the daily LeetCode questions. Okay, soon I will be doing that too. So for that, following along with me, you can subscribe to the channel right now. Also, I'm also going to add some tech and coding related content too later. I've also added a video of a startup that I'm currently working on, Clavor.ai. You can check that too. It is also present in the, you can say, YouTube channel that you are currently on. Also, if you want to connect with me personally, you can use my social connections link, which are present in the description of the video. Thank you for staying till the end. Thank you very much.